Good morning, everyone. On Saturday night, late Saturday night, a handful of us are going to be live here on my channel from Discord. Um, I do encourage you to go ahead and be looking for that stream. I have not set up a time with them yet. I'm probably going to do that sometime today. So tomorrow, in my first video, my first upload, I will be giving the time and all that. There will be no chats on YouTube. The chats will all be done through Discord, as people have been getting banned for what others are saying in the chat pods. So there's that. I'm going to pause and pull something up. Okay, so here we are at DC Clothesline. America's dirty little secret. Sex with children has become big business. And of course, they're not just talking about, 16-year-old girls that end up with 20-year-old dudes, or something like that. No, they're talking about something that is way fucking worse. So let's get into it. This comes from John Whitehead of the Rutherford Institute. And me and John Whitehead fucking align we align in our beliefs of how things are here. Okay. Children are being targeted and sold for sex in America every fucking day. John Ryan, National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Children, young girls, some as young as 9 years old, are being bought and sold for sex in America. The average age for a young woman being sold for sex now is 13 years old. But I thought slavery ended. This is America's dirty little secret. And I find it very ironic that we have a MAGA hat to the right here, when Donald Trump was pretty good friends with old Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah. And here we are talking about, the worst things we can be talking about. Sex trafficking, especially when it comes to the buying and selling of young girls, has become big business in America. The fastest growing business in organized crime and the second most lucrative commodity traded illegally after drugs and guns. As investigative journalist Amy Fine Collins notes, it's become more lucrative and much safer to sell malleable teens than drugs or guns. A pound of heroin or an AK-47 can be retailed once, but a young girl can be sold 10 to 15 times a day, and a righteous pimp confiscates 100% of her earnings. Now consider this: every 2 minutes a child is exploited in the sex industry. And look, I don't have anything against sex. I have everything against people using children for sex. I have something against people robbing children of their innocence, which, I have good reason to. According to USA Today, adults purchase children for sex at least 2.5 million times a year in the United States. Who buys a child for sex? Otherwise, ordinary men from all walks of life. They could be your coworker, doctor, pastor, or spouse, writes journalist Tim Sworen, who spent more than a year investigating the sex trade in America. In Georgia alone, it is estimated that 7,200 men Half of them in their 30s seek to purchase sex with adolescent girls each month, averaging roughly 300 a day. A day. On average, a child might be raped by 6,000 men during a 5-year period of servitude. It is estimated that at least 100,000 children, girls and boys, are bought and sold for sex in the U.S. every year, with as many as 300,000 children in danger of being trafficked each year. Some of these children are forcibly abducted, others are runaways, and still others are sold into the system by relatives and acquaintances. Human trafficking, the commercial sexual exploitation of American children and women via the internet, strip clubs, escort services, or street prostitution, is on its way to becoming one of the worst crimes in the U.S., said prosecutor Krishna Patel. This is an industry that revolves around cheap sex on the fly with young girls and women who are sold to 50 men each day for $25 apiece, while their handlers make $150,000 to $200,000 per child each year. And this is not only a problem found in big cities. It's happening everywhere, right under our noses, in suburbs, cities, and towns across the nation. As Ernie Allen of the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children points out, the only way not to find this in any American city is simply not to look for it. Don't fool yourself into believing that this is merely a concern for lower income communities or migrants or immigrants. It's not. It is estimated that there are 100,000 to 150,000 underage sex workers in the U.S. These girls aren't volunteering to be sex slaves. They're being lured, forced, trafficked into it. In most cases, they have no choice. In order to avoid detection, in some cases aided by and abetted by the police, and cater to male buyers' demand for sex, different women, pimps, and the gangs and crime syndicates they work for have turned sex trafficking into a highly mobile enterprise, with trafficked girls, boys, and women constantly being moved from city to city, state to state, and country to country. For instance, the Baltimore-Washington area, referred to as the Circuit, with its I-95 corridor dotted the rest stops, bus stations, and truck stops, is a hub for the sex trade. This is one of the biggest threats to our children. This is why my child, my little girl, stays home with me. This is why I spend my time with her doing school, and this is why you should be doing the same. And in a civil war or a revolution or an insurgency, these kinds of people would be open targets for us to eliminate, which is why I continue to urge everyone to rebel. Rebel in every way possible. Our children need us. Until next time, kill the state before the state sells your children into prostitution.